audio piece, everyone. Firstly, thanks for joining on your Sunday morning. So it's our effort to bring to you various facets of Ramayana every week. And this week, we have Ravi as the speaker. Um, One of the things we also wanted to share was understanding Ramayana through a very different lens of temples, preservation, storylines, folklore, and that angle, right? Some of it is just taken for granted, but there's a lot of depth in that aspect. Now that's a huge subject, and Ravi is our front runner when it comes to really putting that together and bringing to us what does it mean to understand Ramayana in terms of cultural percolation, right? Ravi, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, very much.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Just trying to set context in my own words, but you would do a better job at that. But I'm glad this happens to be the fourth week of uninterrupted set of activities for our alumni. Okay. With that, I'll really give it to Ravi to take it forward. Yeah.
Sure. Good morning, all, and Jai Shri Ram once again. So this is my first attempt, so excuse me in case if there are any kind of issues with the respective flow and all. But few things that I read, and other than that, while I was traveling from south to north, exploring all the Divya Kshetras, especially the uh, 108 Divya Deshams. There are some beautiful inputs which I happen to gather. And there is always a debate whether, the Ramayana, whether it is a true one or is it a kind of assumption. But I happen to see and explore places which gave me a profound feel that it is not an assumption, but this is something which is being done, which has been happened long time back, and it also has some kind of there are some beautiful places where the energy is being restored. So that is something where we'll have to explore it over the period, which I'll be covering it. And to begin with, I'll just give you a small context in terms of what exactly uh, I mean, I'm sure some points which were being covered by Srini during our sessions, and but still there are certain areas which I still wanted to touch upon. So uh, before I jump into, I wanted to give you a uh, the story behind. Like, say, initially when Rama was incarnated, and over the period you see Krishna coming in, and there are a lot of lineages here and there. But to just give you a background, uh, there is a beautiful story, and that's when you could able to relate it very easily in the recent past times. So initially, what happened is when you have series of yugas that happen to come in, so there came a time where the Kali Yuga started. So when Kali Yuga started, all the divines were sitting together to see what is coming next, and in which you see Kali coming in, and he comes with a different character altogether, where while coming, he comes with a tongue holding in his hand, and with the other hand he comes with an organ in the hand, so which talks about somebody who doesn't have a limit to what he speaks, and he's all time having that lustful feelings, and that will basically create a maya for individual not to reach the divine. So in that particular scenario, especially Lord Vishnu was so very sad, where he feels very insecure, and then he would be in a very sorrow state. So in that particular scene, uh, Sudarshana himself would come and ask, "What happened to you? Why are you so sad? What is making you feel unhappy?" Then Vishnu himself says that earlier, in the earlier yugas, you see Ravana and you see Duryodhan and all. These people have spreaded the negative energy, but in Kali Yuga, it is going to be there in everyone's DNA, in the form of anger, in the form of lust, in the form of certain qualities that will not help the individual grow. And instantly he would ask, why is it so? Why is it so? And why don't you have a solution for this? And he says that, and Sudarshan was so very furious, and he says that I would take myself, I will use my energy, and then I'll kill everybody, everything possible, so that you will not see that negative piece coming at all. Then he says that it is not single individual like Ravana or Duryodhana. It has been there in every single person, whether you talk about anger, whether you talk about lust, whether you talk about greed. So these are all the qualities which will not help one individual to grow to a spiritual heights. Then they've been so Vishnu himself says that it is not so easy the way that you are trying to go and kill. Like say for instance, if you do some kind of ahimsa, that will multiply again, so that leads to a bigger problem than what you are thinking. So same happens with the Shiva as well. So both of them are one and the same. So in a way, we do not differentiate much between Vishnu and Shiva. So both of them uses their energy where, like say for instance, Vishnu using his uh, uh, what you call his ayudas, like say Shanka, Chakra, and all. He creates a kind of virtues in the form of alvars. So that's when they take a form of alvars, and they have come on the earth. This is way back, so that they can spread the bhakti movement. At the same time, from Shiva's standpoint, you see Nayanars who would be coming, who would literally pray Lord Shiva, and there are around 46 Nayanars who have come in, who have stepped on the earth. So if you see, these people have scattered across. It is not something where they come from a premium, I mean, a superior family. They even been spreaded into a smallest of the smallest families who doesn't have a recognition in the society, and they started spreading across this bhakti movement everywhere. And they started talking about the divine powers, and then how do you spread bhakti across, and that is the only place where we could able to get moksha sadhana. So that is when each of these people, wherever the places that they happened to go, and then they started worshipping Lord Vishnu in their own forms. Like say some of them in the form of Vamana, some of them in the form of Rama, some of them in the form of Krishna. So all of them, if you see Divya Deshas, all the nine avatars have been covered, covering the stories and the characters of Bhagavatam. And if you see each of them, every single place that the temples are located, they are the reservoirs of huge energy. And I'll also give you a small context in terms of what is the guarantee that this is the only temple. It can also be a kind of creation. So one of the virtues that I happen to hear about is over a period, especially when Lord Vishnu steps on the earth, to stop the uh, the negative energy, or to kill the evil. So it is being said that they have given varam to panchabhutas. So panchabhuta, when you talk about it, is again ether, which is akasha, and air, which is vayu, fire, which is agni, and water, which is apps, and earth, which is prithvi. So whenever he takes a form of incarnation on the earth, it is blessed that this energy will be formed into a stone or a statue, which is now we call it as Swayambhu uh, uh, Kshetras. So this is the place where the energy is being restored, and that is something which has been gifted to all the Panchabhutas. And that's when, whenever we go, we see that we differentiate temples, stating that this is Swayambhu and this is Pratishtha made temples. And every single place has its own energy, and that is something which we could able to experience using our own uh, meditation, and meditation is again into different forms, which I'm now going to talk about. So this is a bit of connecting story, so that wherever the places that you go, start from south, which is Kerala, till top Himalayas, you have Divya Kshetras everywhere, especially the Divya Desham, which we talk about, which is there everywhere, and you can see the energy and the story interlinked, so that that will be able to easily relate to us. And I'll also tell you where all places that we can see this particular information, or I'll share you the information so that you can explore each of them individually. And then talking about Rama, because I think when I was given a task to talk about Rama, it's because he is one of my favorite characters. But although I started reading using Valmiki, Ramayana, and all, and there are certain beautiful qualities which are so very rare. And once I started reading it, I feel like I need to see this particular character. So that is the kind of feel factor that I happen to got. And he is somebody who doesn't have certain qualities like anger. He had overcome anger. He doesn't have greed, and he doesn't have and he is the epitome of dharma. So no matter what, we often talk about Dharmaraja, but prior to Dharmaraja, he is one of them who take right decisions at any given point of time. And that is one of the reasons across the universe, everybody are scared to come in front of him, because he is very, very right in terms of his actions and his moves. So he could not take any single step without dharma, and that is why he is called as Maryada Purushottam. And if you see the interlinkage points again, starting when we talk about different ways, uh, different Puranas and all, there is a saying: any kind of divine that you talk about is not made of with skin and flesh. Uh, and some kind of personality or some kind of energy that is there, which is driving, is because of Shakti again. So there is lot of intercourse, or there is lot of sayings behind the energy of Rama. If you talk about, if you know, we call Navaratri, which happens in four different forms, where we call it as Sharan Navaratri and Shamala Navaratri, and then we have Varahi Navaratri, and we have also Vasanta Navaratri, which is one form of Lalita based Navaratri. So if you see, Rama's birth had happened during Vasanta Navaratri itself, which is again the form of Lalita. So even there are closest similarities between Lalita and Rama, wherein both of their energies are one and the same. And that is one of the reasons wherever you go, whether it is from south till north, the moment you say Rama, no matter what lineage you belong to, everybody starts connecting to them, because he holds that characters, and he made a beautiful mark wherever that he has gone. And importantly, to talk about, we always talk him as a superior warrior, and then he doesn't have fear factor and things like that. But there are also beautiful qualities within him. Though he belongs to Surya Vamshi, we call him as Ramachandra. The reason we call him as Ramachandra is because when he happened to overcome greed, anger, anybody who overcomes it here, the face itself will turn out so beautiful and peaceful. And his face is so very replicant, where he has beautiful cheeks even at whatsoever age he is. And he is beautiful and soft than flowers, than a rose flower, and that is when he is named as Ramachandra. And as he has overcome these qualities, that those are one of the uh, inputs where he could able to make his own mark. And if you see the stories, and if you see some kind of uh, uh, like say stotras that happen to come from different maharshis, he happened to give us in many different ways, telling that we may dip in between during our life journey, but he happened to give beautiful stotras which will enable us to stand up and then you be successful in our lives. And that is when, if you see Aditya Hrudhayam, which had come into picture, especially when he was fighting with Ravana over a period, he loses his energy in between, and then he doesn't feel like fighting anymore. In that particular point where Agastya Maharshi himself would come, and then he would talk about the importance of Surya Dev, and he gives this Aditya Hrudayam himself. So the moment anybody chants Aditya Hrudayam, you will see that passion, energy, and that positive vibe which will be inbuilt in the body. So that is something which gives us a call stating that we need to wake up early in the morning, and then we'll have to give some argyam uh, to uh, uh, to Surya Bhagwan himself. And these are the beautiful qualities which are again principles which makes individuals so very successful. Uh, so I'm just halfway, but I'm just talking as per the flow that I happen to explore. And I'll also share you the website details so that you can explore uh, the stotras, and if you understand or if you decode the meaning of it, you feel it even more better. And then talking about, I think Shashi himself have covered about Lord Rama and the importance of things, uh, wherein out of my research, this is something which I happen to understand as Rama, when we are talking about, is the name that came from two different energies, where they have picked it up from Om Namah Shivaya and as well from Om Namo Narayanaya. And that is when together we call it as Rama. And this will also give us a call stating that we cannot differentiate a energy. And if we start differentiating the energy, which means to say that we are again falling into Maya, and which is not a good sign for our growth, for our individual growth. So therefore, you'll have to read it in a united form is one particular thing which is said. And when you happen to talk about, individual growing from a spiritual friend, it happens through Japa once again. So when you talk about Japa, there are various types of Japa. So the first one we call it as Vaikhari Japa, which means to say that if somebody is chanting or if somebody is reading the japa in a louder form, like say for instance, if there is some noise here and there, people start reading shlokas or whatever in a very high tone, which is called as Vaikhari Japa. So that is one kind of japa, but which is effective no matter, but the energy spreads across. Like say for instance, if I keep chanting it loud, the energies which are there around, they start observing that energy. So that is one form of energy. And when you talk about japa, you very much hear this particular japa generally in Jainism or Sikhism and also Buddhism. So these are the places where they do a lot of japas, which you often hear. But even in our lineage, we have doing this japa practice. And the second one that we have is Upamshu japa, which is not being very loud, but you just give a lip movement. So that is something which we call it as Upamshu japa, and this is more effective than of Vaikari Japa, which is reading out loud. And the third one that we have is Manasika Japa, which is even more effective than other two, where you you do the japa within your self, and you integrate this japa with your breathing technique. So if you see the japa that we generally talk about, or we link it with our breathing part. So when you take breathe in, which you call as so, and when you leave the breathe, you call it as hum. So hum is generally a word. And when somebody does any kind of kriya in terms of work or in terms of japa, or even when you are at a spiritual note, this is something where you'll have to focus on your breathing. So this breathing basically will help you to grow to a level. And generally, even in our peers, we see that there are some people who are extremely good in meditation. The moment you step into different places, some people could able to understand the energy, and some people could not. So this is all because of the practice which they happen to do, and the focus that they have on their focus and control that they have on their breathing. So this is again, Manasika Japa is something where you'll have to interlink. You'll have to do it silently, but you'll have to interlink with your breathing. And then the other one that we have is Likita Japa. Likita Japa is again something where you have the practice of writing this particular shlokas, or whatever the mantra that you happen to pick it up. So these are the kinds of japa, and it is said that whatever the kind of japa that you do, especially Vishnu related, it is always good to do with Tulasi Mala, which is the most preferred. And talking about uh, Tarak Mantram that we happen to talk about, this is again, if there is an interesting story, especially when we talk about Tarak Mantram, where this evolution had come from and things like that. So Taraka Mantram himself was given by Lord Shiva to Parvati, and it was a point where Parvati herself asked, "What is that you've been all time doing meditation, and generally you are the father of the universe, and what is that you've been uh, uh, who is that you have been meditating all the time and things like that?" And that's when Shiva himself says that I keep doing Rama Japa, which is uh, the reason being he is righteous in all the time, and there is no better person other than Rama in terms of dharma himself. And this has been picked up from many different uh, Puranas, where this has been evident, stating that all these japas have come from Shiva himself. And even if you visit Kashi very recently, people say that a lot of people say that Kashi is the place where they attain moksha. But behind this moksha also, there is a saying stating that if somebody who does Ramajapa, and that's when Shiva would give moksha, and only then he would take that ash onto his face without or on his body. So Rama is very, very important in whatever kshetras that you happen to move. And the Taraka Rama itself is Sri Rama Jai Rama Jai Ram, and this is said that if somebody who does Taraka Rama, Taraka Nama, is something where you read it once. If you chant it, it is equal to 1,000 times reading Vishnu Sahasranama. So, and and that is something which has been uh, said, and probably people would able to attain. I mean, you will start growing towards moksha sadhana once you do it. And whatever the places that you see, there is a saying, and there are also some interesting stories. Like say, if it is common in life that you will see highs and lows very often, but when you happen to take one particular mantra and do the sadhana religiously and consistently, you can see that particular essence. And there is a saying telling that if somebody who does the Rama sadhana very often, you will see a kind of sweet taste that you can sense it in your at this particular space, especially in your mouth. If somebody who does a regular Taraka Nama Japa, which is also very uh, and if there is a number that you happen to cross, like say there are some huge number which Valmiki himself has chanted after Narada himself saying, and even the Tyagaraja had chanted some crore number of times, wherein once he could able to see Rama after this particular japa. So wherever the individuals are, whenever they have the free time, it is important that reading or chanting regularly makes individual to grow to that spiritual heights, and you will see that satisfaction and connecting towards the divine. And other than that, I I don't know. I don't remember the place exactly, but in the process of my traveling, I happened to see a place in Guntur where we call it as Ramakoti is one of the place where one of the sadhaka happened to chant Rama to the core, where he had crossed many numbers, and that place is considered as one of the Divya Kshetras of Rama Japa. And if you visit that place, even till today, you will see hundreds of parrots coming and then sitting in that temple. And it is said that when you take up a mantra sadhana or when you start doing this japa, you see energies coming in a different form. So for some people, they come in the form of they come in the form of more number of squirrels coming and visiting around you, and some places in the form of parrots itself. So that is something where and maybe if you wanted to see this particular kshetra, which is none other than Ramanam Kshetra, which is there in Guntur, people can go and explore. And this is not just to see and explore, but you may have to spend some time doing the Ramanama sadhana, so that you can feel that energy, and it is very vibrant, I should say. And in our stories, especially during the Valmiki Ramayana, we happen to hear a lot of stories and characters that we happen to hear. One such as Vali again. So Vali is again a character where he has a power of taking off the energy whosoever comes in front of him. So he would squeeze the energy whosoever comes in front of him, and that happened because he has done a huge tapas. He has done a tapas to Lord Shiva himself, and then he asked this particular thing that whosoever comes in front of me, I should be able to squeeze the energy. And at that point in time, Shiva himself was standing, and then that's where he felt that even my energy is being squeezed by this fellow, and that's when he would able to slightly bend, and then he gave that particular varam. So this particular temple is there in Tirupati itself, where you see the Shivalingam that we talk about is not straight; it is slightly crossed, and this is there, especially in the bottom part of Tirupati when you travel towards uh, Kalyana Tirupati, you find this particular temple where that is the place where Vali himself had done tapas, and then you can see that energy being there. So that is something which I'll share you the links which you can explore. And similarly, there is something called as uh, a place where Jatayu got moksha after so much of struggle that he tried stopping Ravana not taking Sita, but there is one place which is there near Kanchipuram itself, where the energy got restored, and that place is called as Jatayu Moksha Gundam. And if you see that particular temple, it is again not made. The statue is not made with a generic stone, but we call it as uh, the way Lord Subramanya has, they made it with panchadhatu, and there are also some more chemicals which are being added. This was being done by Agastya himself, and this is the place where uh, they do not allow to take pictures, and it is said that if someone takes pictures, you cannot take that energy anymore, and there are high chances where people do not stay. And when you go speak to the priest inside, they say that you often hear Veda Gosha, which would be visible in that particular divine temple. and often you see ocean sound coming from that particular statue. So which is not very normal, I would say. It is something which is very auspicious, and fortunately, we all are blessed because all of this is being there in India, and this is something which is very much accessible, and we can definitely go sometime and explore these particular places. Uh, so I think these are some important inputs which I wanted to tell you all, and probably start reading Valmiki Ramayana, which I started doing it. But when you happen to read each of them, you will fall in love with every single character and the kind of emotions that each people have undergone, and especially Rama. No matter at every particular phase, he happened to give his own uh, kind of inputs for us to towards liberation, which is needed for everybody. Uh, and probably if you have any questions or if you have anything, please let me know. So this is something which I thought I will be able to share. And importantly, there is also one more place. I think Kumbh Mela is one of the places where, which is now happening topic where everyone are going and then doing their I mean, they're going there for bath and then they're coming back. But it is said that till Shivaratri we have that Kumbh Mela time, and for people who have not visited Kumbh Mela, they can go to any of the flowing river nearby, where as every single river is one of the layer of Ganga itself. So it is still considered as the energy would be flowing till Shivaratri in every single uh, river, so or lake. I mean the moving lake that is there. So therefore, not moving lake, it is basically a moving river like Krishna, Godavari, or anything. So if you are visiting any of them, probably in before that you can take bill. What do you call? Shashi, can you help me? Something that we sit and then do japa, right? Uh,
Japamala.
no, no, not japmala. I think this one where we sit
Oh,
and then
Darbhasana.
yeah, darbhasana. So therefore, you can hold the darba and then you can dip into any of the flowing river, and you can once think of the divine power and also our ancestors, and that is good for us, so that we will get a similar kind of uh, fal, especially in case if we do during before Shivaratri, where before the Kumbh Mela ends. And importantly, other than just not Kumbh Mela, there is a saying that this Amrit dots happen to fall in place like uh, Kumbh. What is that place? I missed it. So this is the place where the Amrit drops had fallen, and this is near below Coimbatore, which is it's not Kumbh Mela. I'll tell you the place, but this is the place where the Amrut had fallen, and you can see the energy still there, and the divine, all the statues that are there are against Swayambhus. So that is something you can explore when the time comes. And Divya Kshetras that I was talking, which is all 108 Divya Kshetras, most of them are there in this particular place, which is none other than the uh, Kumbakonam. So Kumbakonam is one other place where you see uh, where you see the particular Amrit had fallen. So therefore, you see a lot of temples than any other place, and the complete city is called as Temple City, where you can explore very much, and you can sense the energy. So that's all from my end, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
Hi, this is not a question, but just a request.
Yes, Shini.
Since most of our alumni are located around these four cities or whatever you say, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai,
Hmm.
is there a way that you and your team can help and tell what are those 3 or 4 spots which have been preserved very well? And they are like in 100-meter around radius kilometers so that anybody can drive down and see.
Sure, sure. I would explore and then I'll give the places, Srini.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a question, Ravi, if I may.
Yes, yes.
Firstly, thank you. You touched upon several aspects today. Okay. Truly a satsang. Thank you. You touched upon Alvars in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Could you tell more about them? How many, anyone related to any of the Rama temples, and basically a little more on who they were and what time period, etc.
Uh,
Anything at all on Alvars? Yeah.
sure. I think when we talk about Alvars, these are again something where they belong to 5th and 10th century and not in the recent times.
Okay.
And Alvars are somebody where they completely devote themselves and they worship Narayan or
Mm.
Lord Vishnu and avatars. So whichever the avatar they belong to them. And in total, there are around uh, so so all of them again. If you talk about people who are worshipping Lord Vishnu, we split again into two parts there. Nayanars and Alvars. So out of which 12 of them are Alvars, and Nayanars are again somebody who would worship Shiva, and they are again around 63. And Nayanars belong to 6th and 8th century. And if you see places like Kumbakonam and all, there are beautiful places where their energies are being restored still as on today. And I'm not getting the name of the Nayanar at this point in time, but generally, if you visit places like Arunachalam and all, so you will see him wearing white cloth completely from top to bottom, wrapping his head.
Mhm.
So he himself, at the time of at the time of his Moksha, he himself converted in terms of Jyoti, which is light, where people could not able to see with the naked eye. The moment if you see, the people can't take that particular energy. If you see that particular construction, the construction is made from the outside. You feel it like like a church, but it is not church. Basically, it has been covered with 3, 4 layers of curtains, very strong curtains, where it is still said that they happen to open that particular jyoti once in a year in a particular time period, and whosoever visits that particular jyoti, any kind of uh, uh, disease which is not curable will be cured there, and that happens only once in a year. And you see huge flock of people visiting in that particular place, and that is there in Tamil Nadu.
Mhm.
And that is huge. And even when people come there, they happen to put 3 curtains of layers just to see that particular jyoti. Directly, people can't face it. And at that and during his particular lineage, he wants to help the poor, and that's when he started believing in Annadana, wherein he lit a fire for food. So that fire has been still on, and it did not vanish. So where people go and see that particular place. So I'll share you the details probably once I make up proper notes. But these are the two lineages which I wanted to tell. And out of which, when we talk about alvars that we are talking, very recently we happen to, where, uh, I think in this particular magmas, we see a lady who spoke about a lot many krutis that she happened to give, and she also belonged to Alvars. And Nambalvar is one. And if you see, Rama and is one of such alvars. So these are all places, and I'll give you the list of names because I could not able to give you right off. But I'll make a document and then I'll share it in the group so that you can refer them.
Yeah, and that will be very helpful
Yeah.
because this is all actually Sanatan Dharma in action, right?
Yes.
Whether it is temples or the Japa that you said, right? The Vaikhari, Upamshu, Manasika, Likita, Rajapa Japa, Tyagaraja.
Yeah.
These are actually sadhana elements that will help us on our day to day. So
Right.
yes, please, I look forward to the document. Thank you, Ravi.
Sure.
Right? Any other questions, anyone?
Just one more. If Ravi and Shashi, both of you can just quickly articulate what do we intend to accomplish from preservation perspective as a foundation. I think that will help the larger audience to get a feel.
Yeah.
Sorry, Srini, I slipped your voice. There was a breakage in between, maybe because my.
I'll repeat it.
Yeah.
As part of the overall charter of preservation, which is the mandate that you are really contributing to, Ravi, beyond the session, if you have to zoom out and articulate the vision for this particular work stream that you are leading, what does that look like? If you could articulate now, that's fine, or even later on, but just for the interest of everyone. Oh, there is some net issue. I could not hear. Okay. Is my voice
Yeah.
not audible? It's audible?
Now it is okay, but
Now
in
it's okay.
between there is a tripod droppage.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, no worries. No, what Srini was asking was as part of the old charter that you are spearheading, which is around the preservation, everything else, right? Um, what's the larger charter looking like? Right? What are the 2 to 3 things over time that you'd like to put forward as a major contribution?
I think when we talk about uh, when I see the topic as whole, I see there is a lot of information that has been there across. And I think last time when I happened to speak with Srini, he happened to he said to come up with a kind of plan as to how does it look like. So I will design it and I'll share it with you so that if there are any changes, we can take it further.
Yeah, sure. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Any thoughts, everyone? Okay. Well, perhaps we can give back 4 minutes of their Sunday. Uh, but very, very interesting. Thank you, Ravi, for taking out time and putting together the research. We'll look forward to the document and we'll again meet up as a group next Sunday. Right?
Sure, Shashi.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.